Best cat food brand of 2023 we'll talk about is the best freeze-dried raw option, and this is Quest Cat Food, which is made by Steve's Real Food. So I just mentioned before, Steve Brown, pet food formulator for decades, and I recently tested the beef and chicken recipe with Jericho, the freeze-dried raw, and he really loved it. And again, this one is also whole food ingredients. There are very minimal supplements. The beef recipe actually has kidney in it, and that's typically what you'll see with beef. You'll typically see liver and kidney, whereas chicken, it's just liver. So it's really good. It has a lot of whole food ingredients, and then whole food ingredients like chia seeds and coconut oil. Again, cats wouldn't hunt for chia seeds in the wild, but they add those to balance the fats and some trace minerals. Again, it's still better than synthetic supplements, right? Now, a lot of people have mentioned to me that their cat won't eat freeze-dried raw when it's rehydrated. And actually in the video where I tested Quest Cat Food with Jericho live, it was his first time taste testing it, I had some that was dried and some that was rehydrated. And for the beef one, the first time he tried it rehydrated, he didn't go for it right away. So what you would do is take some of the dry, freeze-dried raw, let him smell it, and then crumble it on top, and then he'll start eating it. And in that video, he went to town. He completely devoured it, licked his mat clean. And then when I gave him the rehydrated chicken, he went for it right away. I didn't have to crumble the dry on top. So just try that. And maybe if you're going from freeze-dried raw straight to all rehydrated, maybe that's too big of a jump, because yes, it's the same food, but cats are also very keen on the texture of the actual food. Plus, when you rehydrate it and then maybe it's in the refrigerator overnight, it's gonna smell differently. So we have to think about all of these things and relate it back to the fact that cats prefer routine. They like predictability. So any type of change, even if it's the same type of food, just changing the texture alone, just changing the temperature, the smell, because if it's freeze-dried raw, you don't have to keep it in the refrigerator. But when you rehydrate it, let's say you let it sit overnight, you would have to keep it in the refrigerator because you're adding water to it. When you add water, then you can create, a soup of bacteria basically if you leave it out at room temperature. So the difference in temperature, the smell, the texture, all of these things matter, even if it's the same exact food. So just try rehydrating a little tiny bit of it, leave it at the bottom, and then put the dry on top. Just take baby steps. I mean, your cat's eating freeze-dried raw, it's a good food. Ideally, fully hydrated, but you're still in the right direction. So just work with your cat. Just remember how long it probably took you to get to freeze-dried raw, and just, stay grateful that your cat is working with you. And of course, I have a discount code for you in the description. You can save 20% on your first order. The next best cat food brand of 2023 is for homemade beginners that are beginners to homemade cat food, and that is Viva Raw. Now, Viva Raw has what's called Pure Blends and Complete. Viva Raw Complete is complete for dogs only. It is not complete for cats. Their Pure Blends, however, are base recipes that cats and dogs can use, to which you would add your own supplements. So the base recipes have the muscle meats, the bones, ground bones, and the secreting organs and the muscular organs. So that's basically, think of that as your 80-10-10, and then you would add your own supplements to it. And I tested Viva Raw with my mom's 4 cats, and I made their food with Al-Nutrin for meat and bone. That is a supplement that Viva Raw recommends based on the nutritional analysis of their products. So when I was making the food, my mom's cats were up on the table, of course, licking the cutting board, licking the bowl, licking the packages clean. And typically they eat wet cat food, but whenever I go to visit, I bring some raw and test it out with them, and they absolutely loved it. They absolutely devoured it. And that was with the supplements mixed in. So they ate it. They were licking it out of the package without the supplements, but then when I fed it to them with the supplements, they were eating it as well. And Viva Raw has a lot of protein variety, so that's really good. They also have ground or chunked. The rabbit is always going to be fine ground, but the chunked you can get in the other proteins. So it'll be little chunks of meat and chunks of bone, which is definitely better than just slopping up ground food. Ideally, raw meaty bones and whole prey, but eating the chunks of meat is better than not eating any chunks of meat. But if your cat's new to raw, definitely go with the fine ground first, and then you can transition to the chunked. Again, textures are a big thing. Even though it's the same exact food, just be mindful that something new, something different, your cat's gonna be like, this isn't my usual mealtime food, and they're gonna be cautious about it. Now, if you don't want to use 𝐉𝐄𝐄, their ingredients are of human grade quality, and they do put the country of origin of their ingredients and explain why they include those. I used that with Jericho for a long time before. Now he's eating chunks of stuff and more natural supplements, but I did use it for a while. And, again, it's still a massive step up from wet canned food, and it's a whole flight of stairs up compared to dry food. So it's still a step in the right direction. But if you don't want to use 𝐉𝐄𝐄 and you prefer a more whole food DIY supplement, Viva Raw did send me a DIY supplement recipe, again, for their specific nutritional analysis of their products. So I created a PDF toolkit that explains everything that you need to know. It includes information about the 𝐉𝐄𝐄 all-in-one supplement premix. It also has the recipe for the DIY supplement. I also included meal prep tips and, of course, a 20% off discount link for you. The next best cat food brand of 2023 that we'll talk about is my #1 favorite. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm going to say. Press pause and let me know in the comments. Let me see who's right. Hair Today. And I say that Hair Today is #1 because I've been a paying customer of Hair Today since 2019. That's exactly how I started Jericho on Homemade Raw. They have the same supplement I just mentioned, 𝐉𝐄𝐄 for meat and bone. So that one you would mix with Hair Today's meat, bones, and organs grinds. All of their product pages have very, very specific instructions for the supplements, so just take the minute to read them. I also created a PDF toolkit that explains all of this in the description for Hair Today as well. You can also use 𝐉𝐄𝐄 plus calcium if you wanted to use a boneless meat grind plus an organs grind. For some reason, if you don't want to use ground bone, then that's also an option, and they do also sell fish oil. But I also say that this one is #1 because if you're an advanced raw feeder and maybe you have a recipe that includes whole raw meaty bones that you want to feed to your cat, Hair Today is excellent for this because they're a one-stop shop basically for raw feeders. So they do have whole prey. I don't buy them from Hair Today just because they're from breeding facilities. They are USDA inspected, but I prefer to buy from Raw Feeding Miami whole prey because they come from farms. Side note, Raw Feeding Miami was not on Susan Thixton's 2023 list, but I mean, I still buy whole prey from them. But with Hair Today, I buy the majority of Jericho's diet. So I get boneless turkey thigh strips, I get turkey liver, turkey heart, turkey gizzards, boneless ground beef, ground salmon. What else? I would buy tripe from them, but they sell out so quickly. So that's why I also use Raw Feeding Miami for the tripe. And I also get beef spleen from Raw Feeding Miami because Hair Today doesn't sell beef spleen. And Jericho also eats their dehydrated turkey thigh strip treats. I think that those are the best treats that you can get. They're the easiest to pull apart. I've tried other ones like lung and the chicken breast. The chicken breasts were really, really hard to pull apart, and the lungs, they weren't a hit with Jericho. They don't smell that great. So I'm gonna dispose of them with my mom's 4 dogs because they'll eat anything. But I also really like Hair Today because they have an excellent rewards program. It really comes in handy. So you'll get points when you create an account. You get points when you sign up for their newsletter. I've been subscribed to their newsletter since 2019. It's 2023. I think I've gotten maybe 6 emails from them, literally. And every time they send an email, they include a discount code. So they don't spam you at all. And you can also sign up for notifications if something is out of stock. They will only send you an email when it's back in stock. You can also get points for writing a testimonial, submitting a picture, putting a link on your website if you do have one. You can share your referral link with friends and family like I do with you, and you earn discount points when they make a purchase. So these points really come in handy. I'm always at least able to get free shipping, but sometimes I get all of Jericho's food completely for free, depending on how many points I rack up. And further, they actually let you use your discount points on shipping costs. Most companies don't let you do that. Even if you have like a gift card, you still would have to pay for shipping. But with Hair Today, they let you use your discount points for the shipping costs. So I've literally gotten 100% for free. One time I got like it was $100 or something, and then it came down to like $1.82. So it's really, really convenient. And because they have so much variety and they have so much information about raw feeding, it's a really great resource that I still use to this day. And you can check out my transition guide right over 𝐤𝐄𝐅, because I hear you saying my cat's too picky to eat all this good quality food. That is specifically formulated for picky cats. You can read some of the comments to see for yourself how well it actually works when you follow it. Thanks for watching.